Joining us to discuss this more is Terry Cutler. He is a cybersecurity expert and founder and CEO of Cybersecurity Labs. First of all, Terry, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so a lot of people are thinking, wow, the FBI, an organization like the FBI, is susceptible to outside hackers. Are you surprised?
Well, look, any system that's exposed to the internet that is vulnerable will be attacked and will be exploited if it's vulnerable. So whether it's the FBI or anybody else, if these systems are exposed, they will be attacked.
So what can you tell us about this particular case? What other details have we learned?
Well, look, they're obviously not saying very much. Unfortunately, there's so many ways that a computer system could be attacked. There's so many ways that, let's say, cyber criminals that are on the dark web, which is the underbelly of the internet, the criminal underbelly, they might be selling access to compromised systems. So they might have sold access to this FBI machine to gain access. But FBI have a lot of technology in place that can detect these types of threats. So once somebody gains access to a system and starts attacking other computers or starts doing malicious activity on it, they have sensors that can go off and say, hey, there's something weird happening on this computer, let's contain it.
And so let's talk a little bit about what somebody might be trying to do here, because some of the computers involved were used in investigations of child sexual exploitation. Does that suggest the intent here?
No, I don't think so. I just think that they got access to a system that was exposed. It could be various things. Maybe the investigator that was on this machine may have clicked on a phishing link, thinking he's logging into the FBI portal, and gave away his credentials. At this point, if they're not using advanced security like two-step verification on their system, they may have gotten access that way. But again, that's why these technologies are important to have on these computers that'll help detect these threats.
And Terry, let's talk a little bit about what can be done then for the FBI, for other organizations. I mean, even just companies or even people at home. What can be done so that these organizations can better protect themselves from future attacks? Or is there really anything that you can do? Is this kind of inevitable?
Look, it's very difficult because there's this thing called a zero-day exploit. A zero-day exploit means that no vendor knows about this vulnerability, this hole, and only the cyber criminals know about it. So they have a couple of days to a month to gain access to these systems before the vendors fix the patch. And sometimes it can take weeks and months to deploy this technology to fix the hole. So the cyber criminals, unfortunately, always have the upper hand in these cases. So, going back to your question, what can companies do? Obviously, make sure that you have proper patching in place. Make sure your softwares are always up to date. You want to make sure you have strong passwords that your employees are using. You also want to turn on two-step verification. This means that if somebody gets a hold of the password, they're not going to be able to get in without this 6-digit code that's going to be coming to your phone. That's the bare minimum they need to have.
Okay, good tips there. Terry Cutler, founder and CEO of Cybersecurity Labs. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.